In today's topic, I'm going to be discussing IRA rollovers and why that's important to understand, especially if you recently severed employment and you have your old employer plan that's essentially sitting on the sidelines. How can you make sure to leverage that plan, roll it over into an IRA so that now you have better customization that's going to get you to your ultimate retirement goal, whether that be a retirement income goal, a retirement emergency related goal, or a retirement growth related goal. So it really just depends. So to understand financial planning as a whole, it's really seeing where you are right now, what are some of the good things and the bad things that are going on with your current situation, how to make sure to make those proper tweaks to get you to that point B, to get you to that ideal retirement date. Once you have some sort of system in place to get you to that point B, that ideal retirement date, how to make sure to get from point B until date of death, making sure that if you're accumulating your assets and you're going to leverage these assets for some sort of income play later on, making sure that you're not making mistakes along the way, you're not taking on too much risk, and you're leveraging the different vehicles, the different accounts that are available to you. Some of them might be mimicking what the current interest rate environment is doing and leveraging some different fixed accounts. Others might be utilizing more risk because you could basically hedge inflation better that way, and making sure that it's matched up to what your risk tolerance is. So there's a couple of different ways on how to do that, and it really is based on what your time horizon is. So if we have a situation where somebody was working for a private company and they were offered a 401k account, and they recently severed employment, and now maybe they're working for a new employer and they have a new employer plan that's set up, rather than taking that old 401k and roll it over into, let's say, the new 401k and transferring that into that new 401k, it's typically a wiser move to take the old 401k and roll it over to an IRA. If somebody has a long time horizon before they hit the X date, that point B, that retirement date, well, then it might mean using better growth related strategy than what's available with the old 401k account. And what I mean by that is there's only so many options to choose, only so many investment options that you could choose when you're sitting with a 401k account. Typically, it's about, rule of thumb is about 15 to 25 different options that you could choose. So there's only so much juice you could squeeze out of that. Because you're hitting a qualifying event of severing employment, you could take the old 401k money and roll it over into an IRA, and now you could customize that better. You could make sure that you have thousands of different eggs in your basket. You could have thousands of different strategies to leverage from that current point A into that point B, that ideal retirement date. So some of it might be just accumulating these dollars as much as possible. If, let's say, you're further down the road and maybe you're only about 5 years out from retirement, and you either hit a qualification such as you hit age 59 and a half, and your employer plan allows you to take your monies, roll it over into an IRA, there's certain mechanisms that you could go and make sure that's teetered out better towards an ideal retirement plan, an ideal retirement situation. And that's where focusing on the three things scenario. So there's three things that every individual needs to figure out before they're retired. If they're currently retired, how to stay retired forever. They want to make sure their income needs are covered. They want to make sure their emergency needs are covered, and then they want to make sure that they have growth-related strategies for anything that they don't use up for their income and their emergency-related needs. So in an example such as that, where somebody hits an age-based in-service qualification where they could take their employer-sponsored plan, roll it over into an IRA, if at the time that this person is trying to hit their retirement date, if there's limited cash flows coming to them when they're no longer working, well, then they could go and create an income related strategy from that old 401k, put into an IRA, make sure that the IRA is customized to produce X amount of dollars of income. Whatever they don't use for that income related strategy could now be passed down to that step 2, that emergency related need. So let's say if somebody has $80,000 of expenses and they want to make sure that they have $50,000 set aside in case of an oh my gosh moment was to occur, an emergency related need was to occur, that they need to access those dollars, well, maybe they're not going to leverage that portion towards an income plan or a growth plan. They want to just kind of leave it on the sidelines, leave it not invested so it doesn't go up or down regarding what the market performance is. That's where that bucket basically sits. Liquid, meaning that you could pull those monies out at any point in time. And then that step 3, really the ultimate goal is to make sure that when you're splicing up your rollover IRA accounts, you're customizing it towards whatever you don't use up for your income related strategy, whatever you don't use up for your emergency related strategy, that goes to that step 3 bucket, which is the growth related strategy. So you could be super aggressive with that side. You could be having a kind of a multitude of different things. You could say, okay, with this leftover money sitting with my growth related strategy, I want to be aggressive with a portion of it. I want to diversify amongst another portion of it. I want to make sure I'm leveraging the top fixed related accounts off of a tertiary portion of it, or leverage a protected growth strategy off of it. So there's a whole slew of different things that you could do. Because somebody's eligible, whether they leave employment, they hit that 59 and a half, or they're hitting their ideal retirement date and they're very close there, that might be certain qualification points that they could go and take their monies, roll it over into an IRA. And that's what we try to help individuals do, is understand where they are right now, regardless of wherever they are in the game. If they're in their 30s, they're in their 40s, that might be more of an accumulation strategy that they have to go take their 401k and roll it over into that IRA and make sure that's customized better to really accumulate their dollars. Maybe they're not going to want to take on more of those fixed accounts or more of those stale conservative related accounts. They want to have a little bit more ebbs and flows with the market because they understand their longer time horizon is going to allow them to have the dips of the market because the market could always recover on that aspect. So that could be one thing. Or you have the individual that's more nearing retirement. They're saying, you know, I want to preserve my money, so I want to make sure that I'm creating a proper distribution strategy. Maybe that's leveraging bank-related products, insurance-related products, whatever that case is, to produce some sort of cash flow that's working in conjunction with pension income, with Social Security income, to get them to their ideal income-related need, whatever their expenses are in retirement, making sure they're at least closing that gap properly. Or kind of a mix and match all across the board. Maybe they're getting closer to that end point and they want to take a chunk of their dollars and roll it over to an IRA and have the IRA growing, but mainly set for a max inheritance need to make sure it's most tax qualified. It's the best. You could be leveraging Roth conversions and making sure that you're either limiting your RMDs that are going to be coming due, or for either an income side on yourself, or creating different Roth conversions so that those monies could grow tax-free and leave that as an inheritance as a Roth, you know, for those beneficiaries later on. There's a whole slew of different things you could do. With the IRAs and the IRA rollovers, you have that customization available to you that you will not have available when you're handcuffed to some of those employer-sponsored plans. If you do find value in this video, if you're interested in speaking with a specialist, feel free to give us a call. It's 1-800-566-1002.